The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys!
This is Mick Shots.
Streaming live on DallasCowboys.com and the official Dallas Cowboys app.
Now, here are Bill Jones, Everson Walls, and Mickey Spagnola.
I'm not going to be sucked in. I'm not going to be sucked in. I almost started humming. I'm not going to be sucked in.
Oh, yes. The Cowboys won the offseason.
They won the draft.
And we're looking ahead to 2023, and I've got the schedule in front of me, and I've got W. I got 17 W's on this schedule. It is a Victory Monday already at the Star.
Does it make you laugh when after the schedule comes out the next day, everybody's got to go through and pin their wins and losses?
What do you mean the next day? It's the first thing I do.
It's like you knew who they're playing. Why didn't you just do it
now we know
3 months ago?
Now we know the order of all.
Oh, so that's going to make a difference on how you.
I think it reeks of desperation. I'm sorry.
Or too much time on your hands.
Exactly.
One of the two.
And at least one of us, I'm assuming, Mickey, you saw them on Saturday?
I did.
All
I
right.
watched
At
them
least one of them saw the new Cowboys.
Yeah, where were you
on
guys?
Saturday. Well, I was at a 4 and under soccer game.
4 and under.
They're playing soccer at age 4. My grandson James actually started.
I thought you were going to call it 4 and under.
Yeah.
Jeez,
Bill's broadcasting.
This is a YouTube thing.
Learning soccer.
Actually, my grandson, he started playing at age 3. James started playing last year at age 3. This year, he finally got up the courage to go on the field at age 4.
Wow.
And he was in the vicinity of the goal in his last game on Saturday morning and almost kicked the ball into the goal, but didn't.
Was the ball
We're
there
making
with
progress.
him?
The ball was right there.
So age 3, he was on the team.
He was on the team,
but you were afraid to
but
go
he
on the
didn't get
field.
out of his mama's lap to go on the field. That's where I was on Saturday morning. I was there hoping that James would finally kick the soccer ball. So, but you had more important things to do.
That's right. Watched 27 rookies and 2 tryout guys go on the field and do drills.
Mm-hmm.
Is any one of them a fullback?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Hunter Lupke.
Or Lipke.
Lupke. He
That's 3 different ways.
he looks
no
like
helmets, by the way.
He looks like a fullback.
Okay.
Yeah, but they didn't do anything
Producer Supreme,
with their helmets on.
Producer Supreme said something about him. What was that?
No, he said no helmets.
No one had a helmet on.
No helmet. Okay.
So,
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a glorified walk.
No helmets and no head coach.
Mm-hmm.
Had a back procedure, Mike McCarthy
Really?
did, which was good because towards the end of the season he was having trouble standing up there long enough to do his press conferences. So he had that done. And they had one full field because the remnants of the Academy Award, the country awards were still there on the field, right? It's a good thing it didn't rain because they couldn't go on inside.
They're still taking that down today.
should.
There's
I
a
thought
few
it'd be
more
done
pallets
with
that
all
are
of
coming
that
off that.
there's
It's
the
a
whole
lot
field.
of more pallets
Whole
coming
field.
out.
work.
That's right.
Yeah. So it was a busy weekend out here, or week out here at the Star, including the release of the schedule.
That's right.
Cool.
So we've got much to get to, and this is a reality really sets in for these rookies today, though. Okay, it was
Yes.
a rookie orientation over the weekend, and now they get to rub shoulders with the veterans. Right.
And that was the idea, to kind of get them used to the drills they were going to do and kind of the order of things that go on. Now they'll continue the weight and conditioning plus the coaches on the field with the veterans today. Already got started. So
okay, the scheduling in the off season, I do recall us having a OTA with just rookies.
Right.
I remember that.
No, it was a mini camp, just rookies.
Yeah.
2 days.
It's the same thing.
Basically, an
Why would you correct me?
Because you said OTAs.
It's the same thing. I'm talking about the 80s versus now.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm trying to do here.
I knew
I'm trying to compare the different
back
schedules.
40-some years.
Exactly. I'm trying to figure out, what do they do from here? Because I recall rookies going in first. Do rookies still go in first without the veterans?
Friday and Saturday.
No, I mean training camp.
No.
Yeah,
No.
see, that's what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. I'm comparing all of that.
When you go way back into the day,
Yeah.
the rookies would show up in Thousand Oaks about 4th of July.
I wasn't part of that.
Right after the 4th of July, basically, for a couple of weeks.
Everson, we have rules now.
Thank
Yes.
God.
And
See,
that's a great point because but even the rules have changed even from 5 years ago, from 2 years ago. They did with the new CBA, and this offseason goes very, very quickly. For those coaches, every one of these days is so important for not only for the rookies,
even
but the
starting
veterans.
now.
Even starting right
now.
now
Yeah.
because of the limited amount of time that they can work with
And
these
if
players.
I remember correctly, it goes even quicker for the Cowboys because I think they got fined a practice or two for working too hard
Okay.
last year.
That's right.
Wow.
That's right.
Too physical.
Who snitched? Who dropped a dime?
I'm sure they have somebody in the NFL or NFLPA hovering overhead, right?
Because we would go in, I think we were 10 days without anyone, just rookies, if I'm not mistaken.
Off-season
This is
or
training
training
camp.
camp?
You're training.
Leading into training
Yes.
camp.
10 days. I know we're getting way ahead, but it was 10 days without anyone, just rookies. Then the veterans, the wide receivers, and the running backs and QBs would come in after 10. Not the D-line and our O-line and all that. Just the specialists. And then here comes the big guys.
What would you do in May?
May wouldn't do anything.
Yeah. See, that was the difference then.
Did you have a mini camp?
It's OTAs.
It was mini camp back then.
All right. But that would be like a 3-day mini camp.
It would.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Right.
It was a 3-day mini camp.
Rather than which is basically a 2-month off-season program that it's voluntary, and now you do have the 3-day mandatory mini camp that comes.
That's why everybody come in out of shape.
Yeah.
Because we hadn't done anything.
And that's why
we would pick training camp to get in shape. You would go to camp, most guys out of shape, and you get in shape in training camp. That's why there was so much barfing going on.
Yeah. Well, there used to be barfing going on in the rookie mini camp until they decided to pull back and not get out there and start playing 11-on-11 or 7-on-7 because they were getting so many injuries because guys weren't in shape. Even though they had just gone through the draft process, they were preparing for the combine, the underwear Olympics, and workouts, and they're traveling to pro days.
And now Bob Ward did have an off-season program for all of us laid out, but it was up to you.
Yeah.
And so,
well, it's kind of up to them now, but you better be here.
It's different,
right?
Yeah, voluntary now.
Unless you're Micah Parsons and
you
you decide you want to work out in Austin instead of here.
Well, the other part of it is there's a lot more money flowing around these days,
right.
and so you can have your own personal trainers and so
I
forth.
think they have. Do they have incentives to work out in the off season?
Some of them do, yes.
See, they didn't give a damn back then.
There's
There's
workout bonuses,
Yeah.
for guys that you think might be lazy.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
But you just look at the calendar even now, and they're set up right now, and we talk about the NFLPA and the CBA and the limited amount of time that coaches have to work with players. A lot of it's on the players, and especially these teams that have new quarterbacks coming in, like a Bryce Young, like a C.J. Stroud in Houston. The time is running short already for rookies to get acclimated and learn what it takes and to start learning a playbook and so forth that's being implemented as we go along.
And
here.
free agency, much more prevalent now, of course. Back then, you wouldn't have many guys changing teams at all.
And if you look at it, by the middle of June, they're done until they go to training camp.
Yeah. And
So
here
there's
is
6 weeks between. It seems counterproductive why don't you do this and then lead into training camp? No, they got to have vacation.
Summer
time.
vacation.
Yeah.
Hey, come on, man. What's wrong with vacation? You sound like you're spitting on vacation. What's going on?
You sound like a player.
I do.
Don't you think the coaches need a vacation?
I think coaches really need a vacation.
They should take the vacations first and then lead into training camp.
But they probably see that as too continuous. You know, I mean, it's
stressful.
Now, you got to get the hay in the barn.
Right.
Here's the deal. If you took a vacation now and then had the rookies, everybody start reporting June 15th, whatever. Okay, May 15th to June 15th is vacation time, and then you get everybody as the build-up for training camp and so forth. Mm-hmm. The coaches are going to be – they're not going to be taking a vacation then because you just got these players and you got to get these players up to speed. Now, for the next month, you can at least mentally get them up to speed on everything. Now they know what they have to do. Now you're on your own for a month before training camp to stay in shape and learn this playbook and so forth.
You got to split it up. You got to split
and then
it
the other part of it is the season is so long.
Yeah.
Where if you started June 15th, then you're playing until hopefully till February 15th. Yeah. So
but you got
when you're taking your vacation.
We don't get vacation.
Yeah, that's right. There's no lead up.
Well, y'all don't work, so
that's right. Every day's a vacation, Mickey.
All right. So, what did you think of the schedule? Anything?
New York Jets, baby.
I'll tell you what the disappointing thing was is the Cowboys' 3 preseason games, and we were figuring they would play one away preseason game at Vegas. Mm-hmm. But it's a home game. Mm-hmm. So they're going to Seattle.
Way up to Seattle.
For the one.
And for those who don't
game.
know the preseason schedule, week 1 is Jacksonville at home, week 2 at Seattle, and then week 3, Las Vegas at home.
So that sounds like a little bit of travel because they're going to end up traveling here for the home game from training camp, going back out there, and then traveling to Seattle. And who knows if they go back to Oxnard.
I would think they would come here from Seattle.
Or straight here and show up after you're gone 4.5 weeks. You show up at 5 o'clock in the morning.
And we don't have the exact dates yet. They haven't been set on the preseason schedule. It just goes by weeks. And so you can play anywhere between a Thursday and a Sunday in one of the preseason weeks. So.
Hey, maybe they get a break on game 2. They play the Jets here, and Aaron Rodgers, maybe he won't be acclimated to his new team already.
But you asked the question, what stood out more than anything? It's 4 of the first 6 on the road. And in the middle of the schedule, you get 5 of 7 at home, and then you close with 3 out of 4 on the road.
Well, yeah. But, you know, it's kind of equitable. You get that stretch of home games, and obviously you got to play away games, and they got to play one more extra road game this year on the 17-game schedule.
Because the NFC teams are playing at the AFC teams on that 17th game this year.
And what stuck out to me is the 3-game stretch where you got to play home against Philadelphia, at Buffalo, and at Miami. That's going to be a tough grind. And then even coming home against Detroit, which is a much improved team.
So much improved that they get the marquee game to start off the season
crazy?
at Kansas
That's
City.
come a long way,
That's
Dan
right.
Campbell.
Campbell's going to be crying before the game.
That's what Hard Knocks will do for you.
But that 3-game stretch, Philadelphia, Buffalo, Miami, at Buffalo and at Miami, that right there to me is going to determine what happens with this team.
I'm just looking at different matchups that will be exciting. And, you know, what goes with it. The 2 road games, October 8th, October 16th, San Francisco and Chargers. I think early on that will let us know where we are.
And it's not only they're both away games, meaning long trips, right? The fortunate thing is going back for the Chargers game, it's a Monday night game, so you got an extra day
and the bye
to recover, and then the bye
afterwards. Yes.
Yeah, and the bye is in a good spot after 6 games, but it's really after 9 games with the 3 preseason games. So yeah, I just thought when you look at it, it's fair. The good thing is they're not. You know, I know the games at Carolina the Sunday before Thanksgiving, but that's not that long of a flight. And then you play the next 2 Thursday nights at home, Washington and Seattle, where there's been previous years they've played a night game in New York, it seemed like on Sunday, come back and play on Thanksgiving, and then go on the road again on the following Thursday. And so at least they gave them somewhat of a break there. Plus, the Thursday game, obviously, it's a night game, so it's a night game, and then they get the long break and play another night game at Philadelphia. So 5 primetime games along with Thanksgiving.
NFC East, the back part of the season, second part of the season, a lot of home games for the NFC East. That'll keep us in contention in case we start having some issues, because we're on the road during the first part of the season. At Philly first, at New York. We don't get an NFC East home game until the Giants. Am I looking at this right?
That's right, November 12th. November 12th, New York, the Giants, November 23rd, Washington, and then December 10th, Philadelphia. You know, when you look at the schedule, though, and compare it with the Eagles' schedule and with all of your division rivals, there's only 3 games on the schedule that differ, essentially, from your rivals in the division. And because the NFC East is playing the AFC East and the NFC West this year, so everybody's playing those teams. And so for the Cowboys, those 3 games that are different from the Eagles, the Cowboys, because they were the second-place team in their division, will play at the Chargers, at Carolina, and a home against Detroit. While you look at Philadelphia, and they play at Kansas City, the first-place team from the AFC West. Cowboys got the Chargers. At Minnesota, the first-place team in the NFC. They play Tampa Bay, which is the first-place team from the NFC South, while the Cowboys get Carolina. And they get Minnesota, the first-place team from the NFC North, while the Cowboys get Detroit.
So, which is why, when it comes to strength of schedule, Philly has the hardest. They're playing their strength of schedule. They're playing teams with a .556 winning percentage from last year. Miami's second. The Cowboys, New England, and the Giants are tied for third most at .549. And the reason why the Cowboys' schedule looks so tough, number one, they got to play within their division, and everybody in the that's 6 games against teams with at least 8 wins.
Okay.
Right? Remember last year, it was the exact opposite.
It's such an easy schedule because they get to play the NFC East.
Right, exactly.
And so a year
Now, all of a sudden, we're tough.
That's right. And a year from now, we might be sitting here going, "Hell, they got the easiest schedule because they get to play the NFC East."
Yeah, and also playing the AFC East, which includes Buffalo and Miami. Obviously, the Jets. So what I saw was, of the top 9 strength of schedules, 6 of those teams 8 of the teams belong in the NFC East or the AFC East. Because, number one, they got to play each other. Their division was pretty good last year.
It was.
And then they got to play against each other again.
Look at right before Christmas. You're at Buffalo and at Miami, back-to-back. I mean, these are some really intriguing matchups, and not just the one-game matchup, but you're looking at stretches of intriguing matchups.
Oh, and one other note on that. The NFC East was the only division without a team with a losing record.
The NFC least, you mean? Yeah.
8-1 Washington.
God, we sucked.
Okay, Producer Supreme has asked me to look up the Seattle schedule prior to the Thursday night game against the Cowboys, which you pointed out. The Thursday, November 30th, Cowboys host Seattle. The games leading up to that for Seattle, the previous week they play Thanksgiving at home against San Francisco. That's the Thanksgiving night game.
Oh, okay.
And the previous Sunday, they play at the Rams, and prior to that, at home against Washington.
And why are we looking at that?
Well, because they're doing you were talking, Mickey, that sometimes the NFL will schedule us on the road, come home. Does that make sense?
And then on the road
and
again.
then on the road again. So that's what they have.
I guess.
So the week before Thanksgiving, Seattle plays at the Rams.
It's basically
they come
325.
home, a 325 game, at home against San Francisco, and then they go on the road to Dallas. I don't look at it. The Thursday, I think it's really good for the Cowboys that they've got the Thursday game after the Thursday game because
and not have to break up another week.
And then they get, for years the league thought that the Cowboys had an advantage by having the mini bye week the weekend after Thanksgiving. Well, you just move it back a week, and they get the mini bye, the longer stretch before their final stretch of the season. I think it'll benefit them going into playing a home game against Philadelphia December 10th that they got some extra time before playing Philadelphia December 10th at home.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, that's that helps out. But you still got to play the 3 games in 12 days.
That's it. That's just tough, period. I don't care how you break it down. 3 games in 12 days.
But everybody in the league's got to do that.
Right.
Because everybody's got to play a Thursday game at some point, and now they're 2 Thursday games and the Cowboys have been doing it for several years now, getting 2 Thursday games, but it's good that they've always put it back to back. So,
all right. September 10th.
So you got
the Giants to open the season.
I got 17-0.
Okay.
Every year I have 17-0 or 16-0 prior to that. And then the wheels come off.
And then a Super Bowl championship.
The wheels come off way before 17-0, bro.
I do like the opener against Aaron Rodgers and the Jets.
I do. I love that.
The home opener.
Yeah.
It's always good to have some excitement. I mean, it's not just the matchups, but the stuff that goes on off the field.
And how about even the season opening weekend? The Cowboys play the Giants in the Sunday night game, and then on Monday night, same stadium, Aaron Rodgers and the Jets host the Buffalo Bills.
Oh, very good.
You can actually, Mickey, stay over and scout the next opponent, the Aaron Rodgers of the Jets, if you want. And
see if we can
pay
pull
your own
that
way.
out.
I don't know if you could take New York for a week.
So the Jets will have a short week going into the Cowboys
That's right.
game.
So there you go.
If you want to take a positive out of that.
Yeah. Poor Jets and Aaron Rodgers.
The other thing on this is how in the back rooms here at the Star in Frisco, how much are they focused now? Now that's what happens when the schedule comes out. Now your first few games of the season, and you can actually start preparing for Aaron Rodgers and the Jets, knowing that, second game of the year, you can study as much Aaron Rodgers rather than if it were the 17th game of the year or the 16th game of the year. You can pretty much expect that.
They got a lot of tape on Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. So,
you look at these games. New York is looking to make some money for those 2 weeks, especially. Cowboys coming to town. You've got Aaron Rodgers, of course, is there for the year. And then Buffalo's coming down the first 2 weeks.
First 2 days.
Yeah. That's crazy, man. They're going to make some money that weekend.
Mm-hmm. That's by design.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. All right, we continue, and we got to get Mick's shots on what happened on Saturday morning here at the Star in Frisco when we come back.
I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. Blockchain.com is one of the most trusted ways to buy, sell, and trade crypto. Whether you're always on the go or stay closer to home, Blockchain.com is just a few taps away. Put the power of crypto in your pocket, so no matter where you are, you can trade on your terms and build a crypto portfolio to fit your life. For crypto pros, rookies, and anyone in between, Blockchain.com makes it easy to own a piece of the future. Blockchain.com, trusted by millions, trusted by America's team.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with pre-game sideline access and photo ops with current players, cheerleaders, and Cowboy legends. You want to stay at a team hotel, attend the best tailgate party in Texas, tour the Star, and talk X's and O's with me, Everson Walls? With Star Sports Tours, you can. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today.
Hey, honey, can we talk?
Of course. What's up?
Well, I just thought you should know I've been curious about the new Dr. Pepper strawberries and cream.
Have you felt this way a long time?
No, I just think I'd really like the taste of Dr. Pepper, swirled with layers of flavor.
If you feel that way, I think you should try it, babe.
It's amazing. I mean, you're amazing too.
New Dr. Pepper strawberries and cream. The new flavor you deserve.
Back to Mick Shots.
Cape Post Roofing and Waterproofing, proud partner of the Dallas Cowboys. From corporate homes to your home, have your roof checked by choice, not by chance. Call now, and we're going to memorize this phone number, 214-225-4860, capepostcompany.com.
All right, very good. That was almost as good as your read last Monday.
Yes.
When you didn't have the script in front of you. You did it by memory.
We sort of freelanced.
That was horrible. That was bad. We should know that by heart.
Well, you guys, I know. We just read it. We don't think about it, right?
Okay, so on Saturday morning, the Cowboys had an open practice for the media to come watch these rookies. By the way, we should point out on Saturday night, Big Game Bob and the Arlington Renegades won an XFL championship.
That's crazy, man.
The 4-6.
Beat that team from Washington, too.
Oh, man.
Yeah. And
Dallas continues its mastery over those teams from Washington.
And beat Houston.
Yeah, Wade Phillips and Houston Roughnecks
couldn't
the week
win
before.
A playoff game, darn it.
Yeah,
what else is new?
But Big Game Bob sure can.
He knew how to trade for a quarterback.
That's right.
Well,
Got Luis Perez out of Texas A&M Commerce. Has he signed with anyone yet?
Unless he did it today, I hadn't seen that he had. Ben DiNucci signed.
With Denver.
Yeah.
Denver
Broncos.
Wow.
Yeah, the Broncos.
Really?
He turned in his XFL season into at least a workout with Denver.
I'm doing searches on Luis Perez, the MVP, who, by the way, was the Harlan Hill Trophy winner at Texas A&M Commerce, leading them
what year?
to a
To
Division II
champion.
national championship in about 2016 or so.
I'm telling you, I coached this guy, man.
Yeah.
I coached him at this
All-Star
game. Yes.
Well, he's been around to several leagues and, off seasons with NFL teams.
And he was not with this Arlington Renegades team as the season started. He was with Vegas, the Vegas Vipers, and then the very shrewd Bob Stoops picked him up, and they let him do a championship.
He had a pretty good championship game, too. Stats were good.
And in the game against Wade Phillips' defense, too.
Yeah.
He did not throw a pick, threw 3 touchdown passes in each of those games. It was Aikman-like from...
Now,
let's bring it down a bit there, please, Mr. Jones.
Well, Aikman in 1992, when he had 9 touchdown passes and only 1 pick in the postseason.
His only downside is I think he's 28. So I don't know if teams will take a chance on a 28-year-old
quarterbacks that play until they're 38. It shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, but at this point, he's trying to be the third quarterback probably. So
I'd take a look at him.
You wouldn't. No, you wouldn't.
You wouldn't?
No, I wouldn't.
There's also another player on their team, Willie Taylor, a defensive player who might be their top defensive player. And he was draft eligible, went undrafted. He started his career at Washington State, and he wound up at Eastern Kentucky. And he decided, instead of preparing for the draft and doing that stuff, he decided to go ahead and play in the XFL this spring. And I would imagine he is getting signed pretty quickly here.
So what do you guys want to know? Fire away. See if I have answers for you for the minicamp.
Who was the quarterback?
We got to meet some of the draft choices on Friday. We had open locker room, and then they didn't really have a workout. The quarterback was one. Where's my list here? Matthew McKay from Elon, an undrafted rookie, on a tryout.
Right.
So, yeah, he was I saw somebody taking snaps on Friday when they were above the weight room, and I was like, well, maybe they just made somebody who played high school football as a quarterback take some snaps, but they brought him. He had two guys in as on tryout basis. Kickers? But they really didn't do, they didn't do much.
The reason I asked that, the Cowboys just have 3 quarterbacks on their roster, right?
Yes.
And so do they need to add a 4th quarterback just to get through training camp and so forth, and our developmental guy to maybe be a practice squad guy?
Yeah, but if they thought that was a priority, they would have brought somebody in more than a tryout.
Right. So they haven't found one that they like.
That says, okay, we're going to, I'm not going to say waste snaps on, but, you get Greer.
You've been very crude throughout your career, Spags, so go ahead and say it. Don't try to be nice now.
The camp body, right? All right, you mentioned kickers. There were no kickers there. Tristan Vizcaino is on this roster. Fassel talked at great length about kickers, and I thought his key thing was when somebody said, so what are you looking at kicker? And he said, right now, Tristan and anybody on earth that's not on another team right now. So it's wide open. He pointed out, he goes, there's no secret that there's, 3 veterans out there that people know, Mason Crosby, Robbie Gould, and Ryan Suckup. Part of the problem with some of these guys is their kickoffs. Like Gould, you would need a kickoff guy. And that was something that I think got overlooked of how well Brett Maher did the whole season long. Not only
by the way,
distance,
he's still out there too.
And by the way, his name
came up.
The
fact that you didn't mention him.
No. Fassel basically said anything's open at this point. And if you think about what he did this year, now he kicked in 22 games if we count preseason. If the Cowboys didn't make the playoffs, think about this, and the season he had, somebody would have paid him, and maybe the Cowboys, $3 million a year, right? And unfortunately, he had the one game at Tampa Bay, and that kind of clouded his entire season.
And the San Francisco game was kind of
it was
proof in the pudding.
A little bit shaky. But if you looked at the regular season, he was 29 of 32 on field goals, and 2 of the misses were from 59 and 1 from 46. He was 50 of 53 on extra points, and if I remember, I think one of them might have gotten blocked. And 9 of 11 on 50-plus field goal attempts.
So here's my thing. Was there any game that we could say, or 2 games, I'd say 2 games, not just one game. Can we say 2 games where he lost the game for us with his inability to make field goals or extra points?
Well, they overcame the extra points against Tampa Bay in the playoffs.
Yes.
San Francisco, one got blocked, right? But it was really bad.
It was ugly.
And then he made another one, by the way. So, no, I don't think he ended up losing. They were going to lose that Washington game, and there was a little struggle there. And if we remember Tampa Bay, before when I came back, I told you the field was lumpy?
Yeah.
And I think he got psyched out on it when he was walking around on it. But other than that,
I asked this
and he's still out there, and from what I can tell is he really hasn't had a workout anywhere. He's back in Nebraska with his family.
I just ask it because your stats, the stats that you just called out, they were amazing. And we could look at it as, optimistic versus pessimistic.
Right.
Are we so optimistic about what he's done previously to, and it was a stretch of games, Spags. It wasn't just like a spot here. And
he didn't miss.
This was a stretch of games. I'm talking about incompetence. This is a stretch of games where
what the hell is going on?
Right.
Right now, this is when you want to start doing this.
Well,
and they've lost all confidence, I believe, lost all confidence in him in the locker room.
Well, I think that if they're going to have a kickoff, I mean, do you at least give him that opportunity?
I think he deserves a lot more than what he's getting now, but it's difficult to make a case for him.
Right.
And that is the dilemma. He was amazing throughout the regular season.
Finished the regular season making 10 of 10 field goals.
And a couple of those, he had a couple of field goals that were really clutch for us during the season.
So, but, you know, they liked the guys that got drafted in this year, but they went in the third and fourth round. They were thinking, well, they knew if they didn't do it in the third or fourth, they weren't going to get either one of them.
Clearly other teams liked him too.
Yes. Ryland was the one they liked the most, and I think he went in the fourth round. The kid from Michigan went in the third round. Ryland was from Maryland. They were hoping fifth or sixth, but that wasn't going to happen. So now, you know, you look at what's going on in the USFL, the XFL. I think what they're thinking is if you bring in a veteran, you know what you're getting, right? Mm-hmm. You've seen it. The guy's got some history in the NFL. But again, you know, those guys probably are waiting until somebody gets desperate. So Vizcaino has not been terrible in the NFL. He just hasn't really gotten much of an opportunity. So he's going to get an opportunity, and they're going to have to, you know, judge. Can they, because they brought him in here before, you know, can they go with this, or is there somebody else out there that's better?
If he would have continued with the same consistency throughout the playoffs, into the season and throughout the playoffs, we wouldn't really be looking at this. Yes.
Oh, no, they would have paid him $3 million a year. Man. Think about that.
I still think we're in good position with a kicker. I still like him. You know, I wouldn't mind going into the season with him. I'd be very, very confident in that. How does he feel?
Right.
Is the question. Has anyone interviewed him and talked to him about this?
I haven't seen anything, no. So, and then it's a matter of, you know, when you bring him, are you holding your breath?
And that's the thing. No one feels confident about him right now.
Yeah.
As good a season as he had, and that's just the dilemma. We should feel better about him, and we don't.
And you would have a new deep snapper this year. The holder would still be the same.
That's the holder matters more than the snapper.
Yeah. So anyway, that was a big part of Fassel's discussion when he did his interview.
So he's watching a lot of USFL games.
Yeah, right.
Spring.
Watch everything, right? And then he, you know, two of his best guys, Gifford and who was the other guy? Noah Brown, no longer here. So he's got some openings on. I know people don't, you know, worry about special teams, but one of the guys that I think you can put a circle around is Overshawn. They look at him as maybe a really good special teams player. And then, how do you say it, Bill? Hunter Lepke. He's a do-everything dude. Mm-hmm. Pretty interesting guy, because when I was talking to him, I go, so fullback. You didn't grow up wanting to be a fullback, right? And he was a running back, quarterback in high school, and he got to North Dakota State, and they said, hey, why don't we try this? But not only, he wasn't just a lead blocker. He ran the football from a tailback position at North Carolina State.
North Dakota State.
North Dakota, I'm sorry. And
1,000 yards?
Yeah, in his career. And he good hands. They threw the ball to him. And I also double-checked with him, and it was like, so did they really snap it to you in wild card? He goes, absolutely they did. So he was kind of one of these do-everything guys. And when I mentioned special teams, he goes, oh, yeah, all four. So that's another spot that they've got to be able to fill.
He could be another Gifford.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
His stats at North Dakota State, would you like his career stats or his last season at North Dakota State? Last season, in 10 games played, he had 98 carries for 621 yards and 9 touchdowns, averaging 6.3 yards a carry. He had 14 receptions for 196 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, but look at his touchdowns. Career touchdowns, he had 33. He had 24 rushing and 9 receiving touchdowns in his career at North Dakota State. So interesting, and he's like one of these guys that will basically do whatever they ask, right?
How big is he? He's listed as 6'1" and 1/4 inch tall, 234 pounds. That's what he was at the Combine. Can he become that big, burly fullback in this offense?
6'1", 236 was what they've got him listed here. And I don't know if at this point he's the guy that's going to go and dig it out, but he knows what to do. He also played tight end for him, too, by the way.
At 6'1", he's not playing tight end.
I was going to say, we're good on tight end.
No, but he can – I'm saying he can line up outside if he's in as a fullback.
He could be part of a nice package.
Yeah. So, interesting guy. I tell the other guy that was pretty interesting to me was Isaiah Land, FAMU. Mm-hmm. They had him listed as a defensive end. Mm-hmm. But if you think about this, when I saw his size, he's 6'4", 215. What does that sound like?
Wow, he sounds like a linebacker.
That's where. And so he said they had him as edge and linebacker, and maybe he's the next, J-Ron Curse.
Most edges they can't cover one-on-one.
Yeah,
and that he's going to have to cover one-on-one as a linebacker.
But he was the FCS 2021 Defensive Player of the Year.
He won the Buck Buchanan Award.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So
best defensive
player. Where did Buck Buchanan go to college? That's okay. You don't have to look at it. Grambling State University.
But anyway, I thought
that was a rhetorical question.
You actually started.
That's right.
They had a lot of guys that it's kind of working multiple places, like the Awesome Richards, the tackle in the 5th round.
What's his name?
Awesome. It's not a C.
ASIM, but it's pronounced awesome.
I love it. I love it.
He was a tackle at North Carolina. He was working at guard. The 4th round pick, Junior Fihoko, was a defensive end, but in a 3-4 at San Jose State. Yeah. But he said that they are looking at me as an edge and 3 technique.
The steal of the draft for the Cowboys, cornerback.
Oh, Eric Scott?
Yes.
Jr.
Did you talk to him?
I missed his interview because I was talking with Brian Schottenheimer at the time. But I read about him and, he may be and he looked good out there. I mean, he's 6'1", playing corner.
Yeah.
The other guy that's interesting is Miles. Wait, let me find it. Miles Brooks.
Okay.
Cornerback, Louisiana Tech.
Yes.
He spent his first
that's a transfer
3 years at Stephen F. Austin. They really like him.
How tall is he?
6'2", 198. Interesting fact I found out about him. So he's from Pflugerville. Deuce Vaughn, Round Rock. They had ended up playing against each other in high school. But as a when they were starting their freshman years in high school, Chris Vaughn, the Cowboy Scott, Deuce's dad, started coaching a 7-on-7 team in Austin. They didn't have a 7-on-7 team when Deuce was going into high school. And he started coaching one, and he had those 2 guys on his team. So just a little
That is interesting.
fact.
All right, we got one more break, and then I want to hear about Mickey's conversation with Brian Schottenheimer when we come back here on Mick Shots.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. Blockchain.com is one of the most trusted ways to buy, sell, and trade crypto. Whether you're always on the go or stay closer to home, Blockchain.com is just a few taps away. Put the power of crypto in your pocket, so no matter where you are, you can trade on your terms and build a crypto portfolio to fit your life. For crypto pros, rookies, and anyone in between, Blockchain.com makes it easy to own a piece of the future. Blockchain.com, trusted by millions, trusted by America's team.
Hey, Cowboys fans, ready to spice up your next watch party? Bring Yo Quiero guacamole and be the game day hero. Yo Quiero means I want, and we know you want great, fresh-tasting, ready-to-serve guacamole for your home gating and tailgating events. Made with real avocados and the perfect blend of spices, it will be the star of any party. You can find us at your local Albertsons or Tom Thumb in the deli section. If you can't find it, talk to your store manager and tell them, Yo Quiero guacamole.
Star Sports Tours is the only official fan travel partner of the Dallas Cowboys, offering exclusive game weekend travel packages with pre-game sideline access and photo ops with current players, cheerleaders, and Cowboy legends. You want to stay at a team hotel, attend the best tailgate party in Texas, tour the Star, and talk X's and O's with me, Everson Walls? With Star Sports Tours, you can. Visit cowboystravel.com to book your travel package today.
Back to Mick Shots.
Register now for the 2023 Dallas Cowboy Youth Camps presented by Invisalign. Athletes ages 6 to 16 are invited to learn from the best this summer at AT&T Stadium or Ford Center at the Star in Frisco. Football camps are led by former NFL players, and dance camps are taught by the current Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders. Use code CAMP23 to get $25 off registration. Visit DallasCowboys.com/camps.
That was horrible.
Are you teaching camps?
I'm not teaching camps. I'm going to have to start taking over the readings because that was pretty bad.
All right.
You started off bad.
Those new ones are tough.
Yeah, you got to get ready for it.
Final couple of minutes here of Mick Shots and some news, some quarterback news around the league. Matt Ryan no longer on the market.
He retired. He's going to CBS.
He's going to CBS as a game
coming after
analyst.
your job.
That's right.
He looks like a doctor, doesn't he?
Dr. Ryan.
Dr. Ryan. It sounds like a soap opera doctor.
Okay, you ready for my cliff notes?
There was a quarterback. There was a quarterback in this league, last name Ryan, who was a doctor.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
I'll have that at the end of the show for you, Mickey. In the meantime, that's a little trivia question. Who was the quarterback in this league who was a doctor? But you go ahead, Mickey, and say what you're going to say first.
All right. Quick few notes here. Dan Quinn cleared up this deal about Parsons being a full-time defensive end just because he said he wanted to put on some more weight at the home run derby. And basically he was putting on another 5 or 7 pounds, he said, of muscle. Dan Quinn said he's a pass-rushing linebacker. So they're not making a position change there. Schoonmaker? Is that how you say it?
Schoonmaker.
Tight end. He didn't do much. I think he's still recovering from a shoulder repair.
Oh, okay.
But I was told that he is a pretty good blocker. And Brian Schottenheimer said he can control the C-gap, meaning at the end of the line of scrimmage in the run game, that he can block. And he also said he watches tape of one Jason Witten. So at least he's got
always good to say that.
Good head on his shoulders, right? Let's see what else I got here real quick. I said Isaiah Lamb. We did Lupke. Oh, Darian Thompson. He's a an assistant coach now.
Okay.
Helping out. And he was working with Overshawn on his linebacker drops.
Okay.
Working pretty hard, too. And the surgery that Tony Pollard had, remember,
Thank God, we're getting an update.
He fractured the
ankle
fibula, but it was up high, which they didn't do anything. That'll just take care of itself. But the ligament damage he had was between the tibia and the fibula. And what he had, instead of them going in and using screws now, they call it a tightrope surgery, where they go in and basically tie the ligaments from the front and back together, and they don't have to go back in and take out the screws, I was told. And it's the same surgery that Tua had when he sprained his ankle.
That sounds like more than a sprain.
Yeah, but it was like two ligaments, and so at the tip, the bottom tip. So that's what he had.
In regards to
a faster recovery.
Okay.
You don't need a second surgery.
Okay.
So
and how is he doing?
He was out there doing rehab. I mean, not during the mini camp, but he's been out there rehabbing. And and Terence Steele basically said that they told him his recovery is being a lot faster than most guys. And just listening to him, it didn't sound like they mentioned anything about playing guard to him. So for now, May 15th, he's a tackle.
Okay.
Now, would you like to know the answer to my trivia question?
I was trying to hurry, so we had time for that.
All right. You don't have any
Thank
idea?
you for that, Spags. This is very important stuff.
You have no idea who I'm talking about? A doctor named Ryan who played quarterback in the National Football League.
Falcons?
Nope. He played for the Cleveland Browns. He lost a playoff game to your Dallas Cowboys 52-14 in 1967, Christmas Eve 1967.
Hold on, he's got it. He's got it, Bill.
It's on the tip.
A doctor named Ryan who played quarterback in the National Football League.
If he was 10 years younger, he would have just blurted it out.
Oh, Mickey, you should be able to get this.
I know it.
He making sure on this. Okay. You want me to tell you who it is?
Go ahead. Put me out of my misery.
Dr. Frank Ryan. Frank Ryan, who, by the way, was born in Fort Worth, Texas, went to Paschal High School.
Of course he did.
He earned his doctorate in mathematics at Rice University.
Yes.
No, but he's a doctor. Dr. Frank Ryan. I remember the great Frank Gleber calling him Dr. Frank Ryan, quarterback in the Cleveland Browns against the Cowboys. And it was a great Cowboys victory.
Yes, it was.
Very good.
52-14 in 1967. And now you know
back to the hospital.
And the rest of the story.
That got him to the NFL championship game against Green Bay.
And you didn't have to bring that up?
Oh, sorry.
Yes, but it did. And that was the Ice Bowl.
Yes, it was.
The following week. Okay, so there you go.
Interesting.
Yep.
Greatest.
So hopefully Matt Ryan will have the same post-NFL career that Frank Ryan had.
Greatest.
Can't remember that either, can you, Spat?
Gotta go.
Greatest interception in the end zone at the end of the game, by the way.
Okay, and we'll have more on that when we convene again next Monday for another edition of Mick Shots.
Go Cowboys.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!